Hello everyone, I'm Joel Torralba from the land of promise of Davao City, Philippines, and I'm going to present to you my book review story entitled The Legend of King Arthur. This is my project in English and I want it to share with you. Enjoy watching. The title of the story is The Legend of King Arthur, and the characters are Arthur, Mallory, Tennyson, King Uther, Sir Ector, Merlin, Guinevere, Lancelot, Galahad, and Sir Bedivere. And the setting of the story is in the Great Britain. Now let's start the story. The old legend says that the Teutons who invaded Britain were opposed most valiantly by Arthur, a British king. Tales of his valiant deeds were told over and over again, and new ones were often added. By and by, they were put into book formed by one Thomas Mallory, and it is formed that this Tennyson took the stories that he made to the splendid verse of his Idylls of the King. This story says that after the death of Arthur's father, King Uther, the little boy was brought up by one Sir Ector and was called his son. When Arthur had grown up enough to be a squire, the throne of Britain became vacant. In the churchyard there was seen a great stone wherein was an anvil. In the anvil was a sword, and about it was written in the letters of gold, "Whose bullet in the sword, from the stone and anvil is Ratwas, king born of the ill England." Many tried to lift the sword, but Arthur was the only who succeeded. Therefore, he was made king, and he swore that he would rule justly and truly all the days of his life. Arthur and the enchanter Merlin rode one day by a broad lake, and afar out in the midst of the lake, an arm clad in white samite, a rich cloth like satin rose from out of the water, and held up a fair sword. Then came the lady of the lake moving upon the water. "Enter into yonder barge," she said, "the row to the sword and take it and the scabbard." So it was that King Arthur found his magic sword, Excalibur, which so often helped him to overcome his enemies in battle. The barons wished the king to take a wife, and Merlin asked, "Is there any fair lady that you love better than anyone?" "Yes," the king replied, "I love Guinevere. She is the gentlest and fairest lady, and I know love you." The father of Guinevere consented joyfully to the marriage, and as her dowry, he sent the famous round table which King Uther had given him long before, with 100 knights, brave and true. Then Arthur rejoiced. He welcomed Guinevere and sought out 28 knights of his own to sit at the round table, and it was found that by some magic the name of each knight has been written upon his seat or sage in letter of gold, but on one seat, called the sage Perilous, there was none. The bravest of these knights was Lancelot, but they were all strong and valiant. They jousted, they avenged maidens in distress, and they punished all wrongdoing that came to their ears. They were brave and true, but no one of them had dared to place himself in the siege of Perilous. At last, There one of them hard dared to place himself. The sage Pyrrhus came to Arthur's court, a fair and pure youth named Galahad. And then the silk cloth was lifted from the sage Pyrrhus. Behold, upon it was written, "This is the seat of Galahad." One evening, when every knight sat in his place, a cracking was heard, the sound of thunder, and a sunbeam 7 times brighter than day was seen. And in this sunbeam was the Holy Grail, the cup from which the blessed Christ drank at the Last Supper. But it was veiled with white samite, so that none might see it. Thereupon most of the knights took vows that they would search the world over till the glorious vision of the Grail should come to them. It was a long and almost hopeless search. Even the pure Sir Galahad made many journeys in vain. But at last he had the vision of the Holy Cup, and a multitude of angels bore in his soul to heaven. And never again has the Grail been seen upon the earth. At length, King Arthur was sore wounded in the battle, and he knew that the time had come for him to die. Cast my sword Excalibur into water of the lake. He bade Sir Bedivere, her companion, and come again, tell me what you have seen. And when Sir Bedivere had shown the sword, there rose from the water an arm clad with white samite. The hand took the sword, and both sword and the arm vanished beneath the waters. They came close to shore, a barge, and it was King Arthur's sister, with 2 other queens and many fair ladies in waiting. The king was laid softly into the barge, and Sir Bedivere went away to the forest to weep. In the morning, he came upon a chapel wherein was a tomb, by which a hermit was praying. The hermit told Sir Bedivere that the man who was buried in the tomb had been brought there by some ladies in midnight. Then the faithful knight knew that it was the tomb of his king, and by it he adored all the days of his life, fasting, praying for the soul of his lord, King Arthur. And the story was end, and my thank you for watching, and it is a nice story, and I'm so very grateful. I'm so very grateful to perform this, and I hope you are happy. My reaction in the story is King Arthur is the best. Is the best fighter. Is the best soldier in all time, and he have a powerful sword, and he is the bravest soldier ever. That's all.